Tell me about Memphis that I don't already know.
There's nothing you can tell me about Memphis.
From the boardroom to the streets.
I don't already know.
With Mike from Memphis, man. Together we can fix things. Really.
When you say I want to be treated fairly and I want a voice.
Yeah.
I want.
He saw things weren't fair, so he chose to run for mayor. You get up and do something when you really care. It's Memphis 360.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
In the meantime,
It's Memphis 360.
In the meantime, in between time, we got folks shooting people up out the frame. Anybody said a word. We've become accustomed to people dying in this city.
Yeah. It's Memphis 360.
Turning the TV on and the news and see our loved ones and see young people that are out of control. And now you see, okay. But we talk about incarceration. We talk about the youth. We talk about giving them the ability. We talk about investing in young people and investing in the community. See, I hate ignorance. I hate when people make decisions about things and they make statements and they haven't done their research.
How can you fix the problem when you don't even know what the problem is?
We need some help in this city.
It's Memphis 360.
See, I hate ignorance.
It's Memphis 360. Man.
And good evening. We'd like to welcome you to another edition of Memphis 360, the television show we say we like to go from the boardroom to the streets. And why do we go from the boardroom to the streets? Because you got to be able to deal with those individuals that are actually the shakers and movers in this city, those individuals that are actually the politicos in this city, those individuals that are actually the money brokers in this city. However, you still have to know what's going on in the streets. You got to still be in touch with reality and what's happening in order to truly make a difference in this city. And I'm going to tell you right now, we need people that are in tune, in touch, and truly want to change the landscape of the city of Memphis. Now, one of the questions that I ask is, have you been a victim of crime in this city? Jesus Christ, it is so much going on in this city. You can't turn the news on and someone has not been affected by some type of crime here in the city of Memphis. What is it going to take for us to get back on track? You know, everybody got ideas, and I think, me personally, for so long, we have allowed too much to just go unattended to in this city. And I think we, as the citizens of Memphis, and those individuals that we elect, and they always say, well, Michael, what do you expect the elected people to do? Well, I personally expect the elected people to do what they're supposed to. You know, we are becoming too much of a business in the elected arena. We're becoming too much of developers in the elected arena. And I always tell you there's nothing wrong with development, but there has to be a parallel. I personally pay my tax dollars for enhanced quality core services, be it utilities, be it trash pickup, be it parks and services and different things like that in the city. You know, I grew up in what would be considered a disadvantaged part of the city of Memphis. And back during my time, there were more activities available for children, for young people, to keep them out of trouble, to keep them on track. The gyms at the schools were open. The community centers had activities. They had activities in the parks in the summertime for kids. They had all kinds of programs that were available, and you don't really see that. Now, you do have segments and organizations that do have things going on, but I'm talking about as a taxpayer as a whole. You know, I asked the question, why do I have to go to Nashville Shores if I want to take my children or my grandchildren to a water park. When Memphis is the largest city in this area, why do we not have a water park? Why aren't the individuals that are in charge, why are they not trying to solicit those businesses that would want to put a water park? We got land everywhere. Why do we not have an amusement park here in the city of Memphis? Something to keep our kids actively engaged, and also something that could keep them employed in the summertime. Why do we not have things like this? We got everybody that comes from all over the region to actually partake here in the city of Memphis. When you talk about the Grizzlies, you talk about the riverfront, you talk about Beale Street, you talk about the museums that we have. We got a world-class zoo here in the city of Memphis. Why do we not have activities for our children? And once again, I said I'm not against economic development, but I do, as a taxpayer, have problems when you're going to spend $750 million over at the fairgrounds, and all you black politicians are signing off on this stuff. And I do have a problem when you're going to give the Carlyles $95 million to build a hotel. And I'm not saying I have a problem with you doing those things, but I have a problem when you do those things and you don't dedicate just as many resources or funding back into the communities of the individuals that are actually paying the taxes that actually fund, support, and make the government move. I have problems with that, me, Mike Williams, personally. Everybody might not feel like that, and that's fine, but this is why it's Memphis 360, and you see Michael R. Williams up there on the screen, because nobody sponsors this show. I pay for it out of my pocket because I want to be able to say what I want to say. And I do want to listen to what you have to say. And if you want to talk to me, you can call in. The number is 901-244-6874. 901-244-6874 if you have any comments that you want to give. Now, speaking of the crime, and everybody's like, well, Michael, why do you always talk about the crime in this city? Well, because I'm a former police officer. Duh. And because there's so much crime going on in this city. You know, my heart goes out to the Byrd family. The young man that was killed while in custody in 201 Poplar, while waiting to go into the courtroom. His father actually works with me. And this is the second son that he has lost in 2 years to violence. He had a son that was killed in 2021 on October the 10th. He was 25 years old, and he was shot 3 times. Then this October, he had a son that was stabbed in 201 Poplar while waiting to go into the courtroom. And the ironic part, he was stabbed 3 times. And he was 25 years old. I cannot fathom losing 2 of my sons in less than 2 years to violence in this city. Then you have Big Motor, who was an individual who was a rapper in this city, out off of Tullahoma, I believe. He was actually killed recently in the last week or 2. Him and another individual sitting in the driveway, and he was shot. Jesus Christ. Then you had another individual. I mean, who is not waking up to the news, or who is not watching the news, and what you're seeing is shooting after shooting after shooting after shooting. Yet, we still want to let people out of jail. We still want to, I still see people advocating for reform, and I'm not against reform, but I'm also for holding individuals responsible for what they do. Now, I am definitely for giving any and everybody a second chance. But when it comes to hurting people, when it comes to using switches, when it comes to just blatantly pulling up to cars and just shooting into cars, when you had a young lady and her mother who was out there at Parkway and Kirby, I believe it was Kirby and something, and Black Infinity, and we always hear about the Infinities, Black Infinity pulls up, cut loose on the car. Then you had a young man who was riding with his mother. Somebody pulled up on that car, and he actually shielded his mother, and he was shot several times. Then we have all of these young ladies that are coming up dead. Jesus. I mean, are we becoming so numb to the crime that's occurring in this city that we just don't care no more? Are we becoming to the place in our minds and our hearts that we just say, you know what, it's not happening to us and we're going to distance ourselves from this stuff? But I don't care what anybody says, people are being affected in one way or another. You scared to go to the store. We had a young man who walked into the Walmart out there at Winchester and Germantown Parkway, brandishing an assault rifle. They evacuate the store. Young man's not arrested because Tennessee has an open carry law. But can you imagine after what just occurred up in Maine with the mass shooting, individual walking around with an assault rifle, and he's taking people out? Could you imagine being in that particular Walmart and somebody walk in there with a assault rifle slung or whatever, however he was carrying it? I guarantee you there's other people in that Walmart that possibly had concealed weapons. That was a making for a bad situation because everybody's on edge now. Everybody's on guard. I know I am. You know, you can sit there and say you're not if you want to. Look, my head is on a swivel even in my car. My head is on a swivel when I'm walking. My head is on, and people shouldn't really have to live like that because it's almost like I remember when I was in a combat zone and you always had to be on guard. So that meant your endorphins were always up. You were always tense. It's stressful. You don't want to go out. You don't want to, we all make sure we're at home by a certain time. We all try to guard where we go and the things we do. That's not a way to live. And that's what I talk about when I'm talking about the quality of life, enhancement of the quality of life that we are living. And we're not living good right now, people. Everybody's stressed out. You see it on your jobs. You see it just dealing with people on a daily basis. You hear it when you talk to people. When we lost a pastor the other night, Pastor Bartlett. Good dude, preacher. Right there at 3rd and Mitchell. Now, I've heard all kinds of stories and all kinds of accounts, and I'm not going to even go into that. I'm just saying it's a bad thing we lost him. I did hear that, possibly somebody was chasing him or they were doing donuts. And it just so happened that I happened to be at 3rd and Mitchell the following Sunday, or the next day. I didn't even know that Pastor Bartlett had been killed, but it was kind of ironic to me. I was on my way. There was a young lady who had had surgery, and she had called, and she wanted some fruit and some juices. Yeah. So I stopped by Kroger, picked up some fruit, bananas, grapes, strawberries, all of that kind of stuff, some different juices, and I was taking it to her house, and I had to go down 3rd Street, and I crossed over Mitchell. And I actually saw all of the tire marks in the streets, and I did pay attention to the tire marks, but I thought they were just out there doing donuts. I did not find out about Pastor Bartlett until I got to her house, and she said, "You heard about Pastor Bartlett?" And I was like, "No, what happened?" And he had just attended Ricky Wilkins' funeral earlier that day, and I believe he had spoke at Ricky's funeral. And if you don't know Ricky, he was a prominent attorney here in the city of Memphis. But that goes back to people are being touched all over in one way, shape, form, or fashion, unfortunately. Have you been affected by crime? Are you concerned about the direction that this city is going in. You need to get involved. You need to hold your council people feet to the fire. And I have one that's running for city council in here today. And you know I will hold his feet to the fire because we have known each other for a while. And I don't mean to be rude, and I don't mean to be a downer, and I don't mean to be on people's nerves. But when you run for positions and political offices and you're in these positions, you owe it to your constituency. You owe it to the people that you represent and the ones that have put you in office to do the right thing, to represent them, their best interests, to try to make their quality of life the best that it can be in whatever area they live. I don't care if they live in South Memphis. I don't care if they live in what they call the Bay Area or Raleigh or Whitehaven or Parkway Village, Cordova. I don't care. Everybody deserves a chance, and everybody deserves a standard of living that's commensurate with having a vested interest in this community. All right? So, hey, I just wanted to talk about that a little bit real quick, and we have a good show for you tonight. The rest of it, we have Mr. James Kirkwood in the studio, and I will tell you, I've known him for a while. He was on the Memphis Police Department for a very, very long time. He was a colonel down there at Rain Station, he so clearly pointed out to me, because I first referred to it as South Precinct, because that's what it was. But I think the community down there loved him down there in Whitehaven for the job that he was doing. He was definitely a policeman's police. He was definitely an individual that was concerned about the community. And he let the community know, and he was engaged in the community. And he ensured that his officers at that time were engaged in the community as well. And I believe that's something that we're missing right now, is the community engagement with the police. He did such a good job down there that they moved him to North Precinct, which was out in the Fraser area off of Fraser Boulevard. And he did an outstanding job out there as well. But you can talk to him yourself. You can call in. The number to call is 901-244-6874, 901-244-6874. And we're going to take a real quick commercial break, and we're not going to delay any longer. We're going to bring James Kirkwood, running for City Council District 3, and you can call in. I would call in, ask him what you want to ask him, put him on the spot, hold his feet to the fire, see what he made of. I'm sure he can withstand it, and maybe he can get your vote. All right? So don't touch that dial. We'll be right back after this commercial break.
Can you actually imagine hosting your next event at the all-new SVP Banquet and Event Center? Yes, spacious, beautiful venue with plenty of parking, located in the heart of East Memphis. Let us host your next intimate birthday gathering, family repast, bachelorette party, wedding and reception, baby shower, corporate meeting, social club event. Call us today. Don't wait. 901-244-6874. The all-new SVP Banquet and Event Center. Tune in to Talking Law with Attorney Daryl O'Neill and the special guest host, Attorney Jerome Payne. Live TV talk on your digital device, on Roku, Fire TV, and Apple TV. Download the SVP TV app right now. Check us out every Tuesday on Comcast Cable, Channel 17, 8:30 p.m. And we are live every Friday on Facebook Live, 6 o'clock in the evening. You've got a question? Our attorneys have the answer. So let's talk law with Attorney Daryl O'Neill on the SVP TV network.
You're talking about a good time shield. We all know. Come on now.
Sit Center Stage Gospel Music live from Memphis, Tennessee, featuring gospel artists from around the world. Toe-tapping, hand-clapping, down-home gospel music. Watch on Roku, Fire TV, Apple TV, and your local Comcast. Download the SVP TV app now on your smart television and mobile device. Center Stage Gospel season premieres Sunday, 8 p.m. Central.
Hey folks, it's Issa Haddad here. I got some good news and a special invitation for you to come see me here at Sunrise Collierville. Come on down, check out my inventory with new, pre-owned, and certified vehicles to choose from. I can get you financed when no one else can. Come on by, bring your family. I treat you like family. Come see me, Issa, here at the #1 dealership in the Mid-South, 4605 Houston Levy Road, Sunrise Collierville. Come on down, check out my inventory with hundreds of vehicles to choose from, pre-owned, new, and certified.
Good news from Sunrise Chevrolet. Get in your new vehicle today. Come on in, ask for Issa. Bankrupt, slow pay, bad credit, it's okay. Let Issa put you in your brand new truck or car today when you shop at Sunrise Chevrolet Collierville.
And don't forget, ask for me, Issa.
For over 20 years, OPOX has been keeping the Mid-South
warm in the winter and cool in the summer.
OPOX is family owned and operated, so our family will take care of yours every step of the way. And right now, you can double up and save. Buy a new AC unit and get 50% off a new furnace to match it. Count on OPOX for fast and professional heating and cooling services. Count on OPOX.
And good evening. Welcome back to Memphis 360. Miss Debbie them got a brand new little desk, y'all. Looks cute, don't it? It look like it's marble and stuff. Miss Debbie trying to come on up in this world. She's trying to do some things. They doing work around the studio. They redoing the building and all of this kind of stuff. They got a party room down here if you want to rent it. She's trying to fix this place up. She ain't got nothing to do these days, so now she's just spending money all over the place redoing the building. Hey, if you got it like that, Miss Debbie, knock yourself out. But guess what? We got James Kirkwood in the studio today, and he is running for City Council District 3. Welcome back, because we've had him here before. Welcome back.
Hey, appreciate you, man. I thank you so much for letting me come again.
Okay, no problem,
Yes.
no problem. So first of all, let's do this. First of all, once again, introduce yourself to the citizens of the city of Memphis.
Hey, James Kirkwood, retired Colonel James Kirkwood. Some people call me Pastor Kirkwood. Been a native Memphian, grew up in this city, love this city. I'm a servant leader at heart, and worked for the police department for 31 years, 11 months, and 15 days.
Wow.
But I was serving the community in a big way, and so I'm excited about that. I'm running for city council to serve you once again, to continue to make things better, because I love this city, and I'm concerned about a lot of the issues that you all are concerned about.
Okay.
You know, we've been knocking on doors,
Right.
and I hear the hearts of the people when they talk about this crime situation.
Right.
And like you, Mike, I heard, everything you were saying was spot on. We have to do something about
Exactly,
the crime.
exactly.
And it's been going too long where we just expect police to do it by themselves.
Right.
But we have to come together, and we have to pull our community together as the leaders to address these matters. All right. And so I'm excited about doing that. Did it as a colonel, Range Station, did it at Old Island Station, and we reduced the crime.
Right.
But we did it, community coming together.
Yeah.
That's what's crucial to all the success we had in those different precincts. And I said we, you all, I didn't say me. It was we having this success.
Come on.
It was about us coming together to make things better for the community, for the people,
Right.
especially our children. I'm just a big, strong proponent that we should lead and fix the world that was given to us, because we were born, it was pretty good. We was given a good city, a clean city, a city that didn't have a high crime, a city with opportunities, and you was talking about Liberty Land and all the things we can do as kids. Well, we need to make sure that we put those things in place for our grandchildren.
Exactly.
Exactly. And so I'm running to do that, to represent District 3, which is Whitehaven, Oak Haven, Fox Meadows, Parkway Village, and Hickory Hill.
Okay.
A beautiful area to just really make it better.
Right. And for me, sir, that's part of the problem. We have not continuously invested in those areas.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Don't get me wrong, those areas were nice once upon a time, and as time has gone on, just like with anything, you have wear and tear. You know, you have buildings that are becoming a little bit older than
Yes.
other parts of the city and different things like that. You know, the infrastructure, you know, just different things like that. And I'm a firm believer that, okay, we pay our tax dollars. You get it every time I go to the store. You get it on my house. You get it when I buy a car. You get it. You get your tax dollars. But how is that being reinvested in the community when it pertains to me?
Yes.
You know, you're spending all this money over there at the fairgrounds, and you know, I've already heard the new mayor, pro tem or whatever you call it, the new mayor. I've heard him say, I'm going to continue a lot of the projects that Mr. Strickland already has in place. And hey, look, knock yourself out. But you can't continue, I'm going to say this, you can't continue to do the same things and expect different results. And I would hope that he would just back up a little bit and not make comments like that and wait till he gets into office and actually do an evaluation of what's going on, because I know that this young man is a very smart young man. I know him, and I know him to be a very smart young man. And I don't want people to already start assuming that it's going to be the same way, because that's what I'm starting from some of the comments that are being made. That's what I'm already starting to feel already. So let me ask you this. So why is it that you want to run for city council?
I want to run because, you know, I'm this guy who truly believes in Memphis. Mm-hmm. And I see how Memphis have, you know, moving to the negative. I hate all the negative.
All the negativity.
Ticket. Yeah. It just bothers me. Mm-hmm. But I'm a guy, because I'm optimistic, you all, I'm a guy who says, you know, and I'm a problem solver. And so I'm like, how do we fix it, all right? Because if we in position, we are the adults, all right? We are the adults, and we are in position. We are in positions of authority. We are in positions of leadership. And so if the community is in disarray, it's for us to fix it, all right? Yeah. Our children and everybody is looking for us to fix it.
Correct.
And so I'm running so that we can fix it. I think I saw that on your media spot. I saw fix it. You know, we got a problem and we need to fix it. And so I'm running so that we can fix it. The challenges when we see all these empty spaces in District 3, these empty warehouse spaces, where I look at them, Mike, and I just see opportunity. All right. Okay. I look at the Southland Mall and I'm like, hey guys, we need to rethink this here because this could be a wonderful sportsplex. It could be turned into something awesome. It could be turned into high-rise apartment living. You know, you could fix it. It could just what we did, what we saw at the old Sears Tower. Oh, you know, it was a dead building. Sears was a dead building. All right, now it's full of life. We can do the same thing in all these different spaces.
Crosstown Concourse.
Yeah,
that's
Crosstown
Concourse.
You know, but it was dead, but it's back to life, and people live in it. People do business in it. There's a school in it. There's incubators in it where small businesses are getting stood up. Right. Well, when I drive down Winchester and I see these empty warehouse spaces, I see incubators. All right, and so I'm sitting there saying, okay, I need to go and meet with developers and some of these property owners who own this stuff and see how can we work together to find funding. Right. All right. Because city council is about, hey, where's the funding? You ask, where's the funding? Our tax dollars. How do we find funding to stand up small businesses in these spaces so that they can bring life once again to this area in District 3. Right. That's Kirkwood. That's why I'm running, so that we can make it. I live in District 3. Right. And I needed to thrive. And I really do like being able to just go around the corner and eat good, go around the corner and watch a movie.
You ain't got to drive way
I ain't got to drive way up somewhere else.
You ain't got to drive Mississippi.
Yes, yes.
You don't have to drive down. You know, don't get me wrong, I'm not knocking Goodman Road. I'm not knocking Goodman Road because, hey, more power to you. But we need the same resources and the same amenities here in the city of Memphis, you know, just like Elvis Presley used to be like that.
Yes.
You know, you had restaurants everywhere. You had things all up and down, you know, Elvis Presley Boulevard. And I know on their chart as a 20-year plan, they plan on reviving that area. most definitely, but it's been taking a very long time.
But now I'm the guy who says, hey, you know, I love the More Memphis 3.0 plan. Let's get it off the paper and let's put it in place. Let's put it in place. And I think within these next years, now I'm the guy, this is a pivotal time for our city, all right? We have a lot of industry that is moving into our city that can really provide above poverty wage and jobs, all right? Those careers, and I mean, that you can really move people out of poverty. We have to reduce poverty. And I'm just this guy who said how you reduce it is you move people into the jobs that pay above poverty wages, into those careers. And so we have to take advantage of all this opportunity that's coming our way. We have to make sure that we go out to our sons, our daughters, our opportunity youth, and stir them and create a pathway into these different positions so that they can really be able to take care of their families, their children. You know, that's important. You know, in District 3, the median income is $37,000, all right? And while that's above poverty, if you got a mother with 4 children, no.
It just took it right back down.
It just took it right back down. But if we could increase that mother's income, move her into a position where she's earning $50,000-$60,000 a year, all right? That's huge, all right? That would be absolutely huge for District 3. And that's the kind of thing that I want to work and partner with business, partner with our educational centers, our technology centers, our apprenticeship programs to make those things happen for our young men and women in District 3 and just citywide.
But I'm going to tell you, Mr. Kirkwood, I was going to say Colonel Kirkwood. I'm going to tell you, Mr. Kirkwood, part of the problem is, and I was watching the news the other day, and you got a lot of restaurants closing down.
Yes.
You know why?
Shit, people don't want to go to work. Yeah.
You know, some kind of way, but I'm going to tell you this too. I even noticed even in some of the government jobs, you know, one of the things I've been fighting for over at the County Commission is for a wage survey. And hopefully it's coming to fruition. And I want to thank Commissioner Brittany Thornton, and I also want to thank Commissioner Edmund Ford Jr. for helping and assisting me with trying to work this through. But I'm finding that you talk about $37,000. There's a lot of people that work for Shelby County government that only make $30,000, and they just went up to 30. They were making $29,000. And some of these young people have bachelor's and master degrees, and we want them to stay there. And I asked the question, and we have such a high turnover, how are we going to get individuals to stay? How are we going to get individuals to not get into trouble? When you got all of these mothers, because it's mostly women, because ain't no guys, when you got all of these mothers that are working daily trying to support a household, and they're making $30,000 a year, we got to do something. You got Blue Oval coming in. You got all of these other companies that want to come in, and they are paying good. One of my fears is we're going to lose a lot of these creative, innovative young people that we have working for the government, and now they're going to possibly go out to Blue Oval or take up, and that's what they're doing, taking up some of these other jobs, and we're leaving holes in where we really need individuals to take care of the citizens of the city of Memphis or the county of Shelby.
But now, I hear that argument quite often.
Yeah.
And I'm like this, okay, if we know, if we as leaders, if we already know that we are going to, people that we have are going to move out to take these positions, all right, then we should be preparing people over here all right, to fill those spaces. And so I've been working even now with Opportunity Youth to get them into employment out at Blue Oval. All right? Some people say, well, Kirk, what about the industry here? I'm like, guys, listen, let us come together as a community. Let us figure out how to move young men and women into those apprenticeship programs. And those jobs, all right, those jobs that's down at Shelby County in different government spaces, let us figure out how to move people in those spaces, all right? Let us make sure, all right, that you got to pay a little bit more, all right? Because if you work for Shelby County, if you work for the government, you cannot work less than poverty. You can't work less than poverty.
You and I both know that in the past, people took those types of jobs because they
Retirement.
paid decent,
Yeah.
and they provided good benefits. And
Right.
somewhere along the way, even when
Benefits
I was
slowed down.
fighting back in the day with the police department, advocating for them, that was part of the issue and the problems that we were presenting even to the city council at that time. This was going all the way back to 2009, 10, 11, 12, 13, what have you. And we've been telling them that this has been a problem for so long. And we actually told them that if, in fact, you do not, and we just talked about the police at the time because that's who we represented, but if you do not try to address some of the issues that are coming down the pike, then we were going to be in the situation that we are now, and that's exactly what's happening. You know, we told them it's going to be a dangerous place. It is. Because people feel as though they don't have a vested interest.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or mothers don't have enough time to spend with
Just
their
for
kids.
children. Yes. Yes.
You know, so now the streets are raising them.
But it's real crucial, Michael, that we, I called you Michael.
I
Mike.
saw that.
Yeah.
Michael. I'm Michael now, y'all.
Hey,
Okay.
well, his name is Michael, you all. We call it Mike Williams, but his boy's name is Michael. All right? But we have to be honest about something.
Okay.
All right? And I was talking to a gentleman the other day.
Okay.
We have to be honest that the village is broken.
It is. I agree.
We have to be honest.
I
with that.
agree.
And then we have to be honest that we broke it. All
I
right?
agree with that,
All right?
too.
You got to be honest with that.
Okay.
And then you got to be honest that if the village is to be repaired, we're going to have to be
We
the
gotta
ones to
repair it.
all
I
right?
say that
and
as
so
well.
that's why I'm running.
Okay.
We got to repair the village. We got to bring back the village. Our mothers worked. My mom was a single mother.
Yeah.
All right, 5 kids.
Mine too.
But she had a village looking after us.
Yes,
All right. It
yes.
was so many people looking after
Yeah,
us.
yeah.
And so we have to bring that back.
Man, you better not say something to somebody's child now.
Yeah, because understand, it's not a village, and so they don't trust you,
Lord
all right?
Jesus.
But when we bring the village back, when we begin to prepare the walls, rebuild, set things in order, when our churches come together and create opportunity, that's how we reduce crime out in Freight. It was what? When I went out to Old Allen Station, they had arrested 700 children, all right, 1 year. And I looked at that and I was like, man, we can't sit up and, how can I as a black man be a colonel of a precinct and I'm locking up 700 young children?
Right.
No, we
Right.
can't do that. And so we put things in place, all right?
Okay.
We partnered with the AG's office, we partnered with juvenile court, and we put juvenile court right down there in the precinct. And what we did was when kids got into offense, when kids did something wrong, juvenile summons, we snatched it, all right? We took it to keep them out of the system. But what we had done was we had prepared, churches had put programs together
place.
where we could move those young people into those programs,
Okay.
reduced it by 500, all right?
Look at that.
You know, it was all the way down to 200. That's all. And I looked at that, I'm like, now that's a winner, all right? Now what we got to do is figure out how to reduce that 200,
Yeah,
all right?
yeah.
But how we did it was we gave the young people a place to go.
Yeah.
We gave them opportunities. We gave them things to do.
Right.
And that's what we have to do within District 3. Our churches, we are blessed in District 3. I don't care what nobody said. Listen, we got churches with gyms. I'm at nice gyms, all right? And so there's
Man,
no
they don't want to
reason-
let them folks in them gyms.
They're going to let them in. Listen, District 3,
They don't want to let them
Listen,
folks in them. I'm
listen,
just, look,
we gonna create
I'm
a-
just playing advocate.
Yeah, he's playing. Listen, we're going to create a sports. I've been working on this here before
Okay.
running, putting together an athletic league.
Okay.
You know, we have individuals down there, with the Ravens, a coach down there I met while I'm doing door to door, knocking on doors. And I've seen him out there playing with these kids. You know, I'm not a Raven fan. They play hard against Pittsburgh Steelers. But, you know, but I'm like, man, I finally got to meet this guy.
Right,
You
right,
know,
right.
and what you know what this guy's saying? He need help, all right? He needs some.
But that's what everybody is
Yes,
saying.
all
They
right.
need help.
Yeah, and so I'm like, hey, let's put this thing together so that we can have a strong athletic league in District 3.
Right.
And we can compete with District 1, District 2, all the other districts.
Yes.
In District 3, we could do it. But in District 3, we have gyms, we have football fields, we have tennis courts, we got everything. And then we got, who was a young brother who does drama and theater, all right? In Whitehaven, you have Abundant Grace with a theater program, all right? Then you go out to Hickory Hill and you got Hill the Hood, Liddell Beeman,
Liddell Beeman.
that does theater and acting, poetry. You know, listen, guys, I went to the jailhouse. Mike, I went to the jailhouse, took a group of pastors to meet these guys behind the bars who are you know, they bound over.
I saw
all
that.
Yeah, and these young men, they asked the young man the question, you know, what do we do? And he said, go back into the neighborhood because we don't see you all.
Bam.
All right? See,
There you go.
Which says the village is broken.
There you
because
go.
we saw all those people growing up, all right? We got to get back and we got to see them. And here's what the young man said. I should not have had to come to prison to learn that I was a poet. To learn that I do poetry and love poetry.
Come on.
And he was absolutely right.
Come on.
You know, I'm running for city council so that I can make sure that boys, girls, our young people find out their gifts and talents, you know, when they're young. And listen, and young men, old lions, and young lions, we lay our hands on them and speak life to them and cultivate their gifts so that they can grow up and be strong for us, all right? Because at the end of the day, Mike, we getting old, all right? And we got to have our young lions to take care of us, all right? To take care of our communities, to make things
Them warriors.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So let me ask you this. So you talked a little bit about going back behind the bars and talking to those individuals. As far as being a retired lieutenant colonel, and how would you assist, or what would you recommend to the current chief of police being on the city council, and they have to come before you for funding and this and that? What are some of the things that you would like to tell, and I'm sure you've already had conversations with her, but how do you think we address this crime, this major crime, inclusive of the police department? What do you think the police department needs to do?
I think the police department needs to truly have, now this I think you need to do the Kirkwood approach, all right? I called it Blue Communities. You have to build an advisory board. Every colonel should have an advisory board with his, and that advisory board should be made up of the community stakeholders. And people don't like stakeholders, so let me call them out. Parents, teachers, principals, the politicians, state representatives, those individuals. It should be those partners like Agape, Heal 901, Memphis Allies, all those individuals need to be sitting at the table looking at these are our problems. This is where our problems are occurring. All right, that's what I did when I was colonel. I told the churches, this is where your problem is. All right, our problem is domestic violence. So you need to create outreach and create ministry to address domestic violence, to address literacy, to address this violence. All right, you gotta bring people to the table and you have to address it. Then you have to have a clear understanding that look, I tell people all the time, everybody ain't going to heaven. All right, Mike? Right? Everybody ain't going to heaven. And while we try to save as many people as we need to, somebody's going to go to jail. All right? And we need to allow...
Without a doubt.
And we need to allow police to make arrests, all right? To go out here and police and do their job, all right? Hold them accountable. You all know I'm big on if anybody worked for me, police officer will tell you, Kirkwood is big on courtesy. Kirkwood is big. I just taught a class this morning at the train academy, and I told them, you all are high-paid servants, all right? If you go to Houston's and you get that good service, that's the kind of service that all citizens, I don't care who they are, when it comes to police, you should give them that type of service, all right? But, and you should only use the amount of force necessary to effect arrest.
I agree wholeheartedly.
All right?
I agree.
But you should make the arrest, all right? And you should go forth and do your job. We have to allow people to do their job.
But I'm going to tell you something that I'm finding out now, though, too, is some of them are not being allowed to do their jobs.
Well, we have to allow them to do their job.
I'm saying they're not being allowed to do the jobs internal to the police department because everybody's so skittish right now. Everybody's so skittish, and rightfully so, with the Tyrese Nichols incident, with what's going on in the jails and just all across the city, and individuals that have been abused at the hands of police. Let's call it what it is.
Let's call it what it is.
And I don't have a problem with that, and I've never had a problem with that. But at the same token, we cannot allow individuals to just continuously have a blatant disregard for the law. You see individuals that are doing donuts around police cars.
In the middle of the street,
around police cars, talking crazy, and they're on Facebook. You see individuals that know that a lot of the police officers' hands have been handcuffed, or they have been handcuffed, or that they are being held back because of a lot of things that have transpired. And we got to have individuals on the police department, lieutenants, that are not afraid to allow individuals to police, but at the same time, as you say, hold them accountable. Because I never really had any problems policing, and I was probably one of those individuals when I was in the streets. I was in the mix. I was in it. But I knew when to stop.
You knew when to stop.
I knew when to stop. I knew when to stop others. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Because I ain't finna go to jail for you and nobody else.
Yes.
I ain't finna do it. And not only that, what if that's my brother, my cousin, my sister, my uncle?
We held each other
I
accountable.
don't want you abusing individuals because they could be they could be somebody in my family.
Here's the deal. I spoke to the community. I said, listen, guys, you have to speak up. All right? If you want your police department to be able to go out here and do their job, then, you know, the majority of people, all right, who have been sitting quiet, hadn't said anything.
They want the police
You got to speak up. All
They
right?
do.
You have to speak up. Because if you don't speak up, the officers don't know it, all right? And then there's a lot of people in the community who says, hey, you know, police reform.
Yeah.
And I'm about police reform. I just think it needs to be community policing, all right? That's the reform I always advocate for. I think we should go hard on community policing. That's Kirkwood. What chief I'm going to be looking for? A chief that's going to go hard at community policing, who's going to take some of that money and put it into community policing, building relationships, and what we just got, about 50 million, 37 million?
But you know, they need to get the numbers up. They definitely need to get the numbers up because there need to be individuals that are dedicated to community policing. Don't get me wrong, I think the whole department needs to be community oriented and involved in community policing, but there also needs to be those individuals because we got the best results when we had individuals that were directly plugged into the communities because they knew the heartbeat. They knew what was going on, when it was going on. They had everybody else that would rally to their aid if in fact they needed it. But a lot of times that allowed them the ability to be proactive as well, as opposed to, because now we're being reactive to a lot of things.
I think so oftentimes we don't understand when it comes to community policing. Community policing is community and police working together to solve problems. All right. With that in mind, all right, when I was over the COAC, man, we caught more burglars.
That's what I'm saying.
Right? You know, now I was a COAC unit, I was a community policing group, but I'm catching burglars that the police ain't catching. All right,
well, people would call you and tell you.
They was calling, telling everything.
What was going on.
And so that's what we need to make sure that we put in place. All right. We need to make sure we put that in place so that we can really create a safe environment for our community. Our communities need to be safe, and it's up to us, all right? I'm running for city council to help create a safe community for the community I live in District 3, Whitehaven, all the way to Hickory Hill. And it's real important that people feel safe. If we want business to flourish, if we want investors to come, if we want people to remain, if we want citizens to move in, then you got to make our city for safe.
Exactly.
Right? So that has to be number one. And then we have to begin to reinvest our dollars into the you know, buildings. You know, you got to make Elvis Presley, you got to make sure that Winchester corridor, we got to make sure when people fly into our city from the airport, no matter if they go east or west on Winchester, they'll see something good, all right? So we got to invest in that corridor. We got to go down there to Tullahoma and Winchester and make it beautiful, all right? You got to take that Whitehaven Plaza.
I'll just say, make sure when you do it, you stop through Winchester and Mill Branch.
Well, yeah, we going down there. Yeah, we going down there. And that's a place, listen, we need housing, right?
Yeah.
Look at all that space for affordable housing, all right, that you can put there, all right? And so we have spaces. It's about partnering with developers to get the things done. That's crucial for us in District 3, and I'm working to make sure we do that. Already building relationships on that end so that we can make those things happen.
But you also have to get the crime down in those areas.
Got number one.
Because, you know, one of the things that I have always said, you know, we can build really, really nice stuff, but when individuals feel as though they can't be a part of that, you know, or they can't afford to go to that, then they're going to go in and take that, or they're going to go in and pillage. Anyway, tear it down, mess it up, do things that's not conducive to a good lifestyle. And that's what a lot of things, you know, even with downtown, we've done a beautiful job with renovating downtown, but now crime has become, or it was, very prevalent. They're finding people dead in cars downtown. People are being robbed in garages. I think just the other night, you know, they had a basketball game. 20 cars were broken into. You know, just things that make me want to say, man, I don't want to drive my Tahoe down.
Yeah, but we gotta be strategic. You know what they say. We catch these kids, they had an ankle bracelet.
Yep.
Which tells me you know who the kid is.
Yep.
You know who he belongs to, you know his house.
Yep.
That kid needs to be connected to somebody. It needs to be connected to an organization, a group of men to mentor this kid, to bring this kid in. And we have to create that, all right? We have to get back involved. When I say rebuild the village, we have to get back involved. We cannot be so busy within our own selves that we don't take time.
Stop.
Right? No, I'm just listen. If we want to make this city the best city in the world, that means you got to put skin in the game. You got to put time in. You got to realize, now I'm this guy, you all, because I'm a preacher too. Here's what the book says, that true religion is what?
Oh, Lord.
True religion is to take care of the widow and the fatherless in their affliction. Well, when you see our young boys going out here getting in trouble, they are in affliction, all right? They are being met. When you see our young men being pulled into gangs, they are in affliction, all right? They don't have another choice. They don't know of another choice. So we as men, all of our fraternities, Kappa, all of them, everybody, those in our churches, our deacon board, we got to figure out how to save our sons. These are our sons, all right? These are our sons and our grandsons, and it's up to us to save them, all right? These are our daughters. Man. It's up to us to save them. And if they're going to be saved, it's going to be by us, all right? And we have to come on in. If ever was a time.
Ain't nobody going to come in here and save us.
No, ain't nobody going to come in and save us. So we got to stand up and do it ourselves. That's why I'm running for city council, because I know, Kirkwood, if you don't do it, if you don't help rally the community, if you don't pull the people together, as a colonel, we reduce crime because I was able to pull the people together, all right? I walk among people. I've been knocking on doors. It's absolutely, I love being around people, but I do it for a purpose, and that purpose is to bring about a motivation to make things better, right? We do it. We do it together. We make District 3, we make Memphis better. And when we do it, all of us will be able to have a sigh of relief because things are safe and we don't have to worry about a mother, a grandmother going to the teller machine being robbed, all right, by her own son. When I say her own son, I mean a young man that's old enough to be her grandson.
Well, I'm going to bring it home even further. I was watching something the other day on the news where this young man robbed his own mother. I'm talking about his birth mother. We've got to the point, we got individuals that are robbing their birth mother. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding? We've gotten to that point.
Mike, listen.
We need help.
We need help. But the help is in us, all right?
Yeah.
So it ain't like we got to, listen, here goes another scripture, y'all, all right? You know, pray that the master of the harvest send forth laborers into his vineyard. For the harvest is ripe. All right. So it ain't nothing wrong with the harvest. All right. And when you look at our young men who going astray, that's harvest. All right. Ain't nothing wrong with them. They really are doing what they supposed to do. All right. What we supposed to do, all right, is become laborers. All right. So we have to unbusy ourselves. We have to unbusy ourselves and realize that, hold on, if our community is going to be saved, we're going to save it, all right? And God have equipped us. He blessed us to be in positions. He blessed us to have knowledge and wisdom. We can come and give some time, all right, to take care of our sons. And when we do it, all right, then you will see the city and the community that you desire.
But I'm going to tell you this, too. We got to stop being so holy, because I'm going to tell you what I've seen. I've seen that young girl that was tired of the stripper pole, and she came into the church. I've seen that young boy that was tired of the game.
Of the streets, tired of the game.
Or the streets, and they came into the church, and they ran out of the church because they were rough. They had rough edges, and people forget that these individuals, they've lived a hard life. They've went through whatever. And I have to tell some of these holy people, and I ain't talking about you, preacher, but I have to tell some of these holy people, preachers, people, period, you forgot you are ex. We are ex-whoremongers. We are ex-dope boys. We are ex-thugs, ex-thieves, ex-strippers, ex-whatever, to the motherboard and everybody else. A lot of them mothers sit on the motherboard. You're a mother now, but you had 7 kids by 7 different men. You understand? So I get it, but we got to fix ourselves even in the church. And I don't know how we got on the church, but we just got to fix ourselves, period, not just in the church, but out here as we represent and say we love the Lord and the Lord heard my cry. And I'm not talking about you.
Right.
I'm talking about what I see.
Here, what did Jesus say? Here's how people will know that you love me, that you love one another, all right? Which means that I got to love those individuals who rough.
That's
all
right.
And I have to be, and
That's
love
right.
is patient.
And you
all
got to
right?
understand they
love
on
is
milk.
patient,
And
love
you
is
on meat.
kind, and when that young man come in who's still rough, you got to be patient with him. All
Okay.
right? So she just said we got 3 minutes. Oh, this is your
Look,
show.
Angel
right
don't run nothing in
now.
here.
Oh, sorry, this is your show.
No, I'm just kidding. Angel giving me my cues. Okay, man, you know what? See, I love this conversation. It got vibrant because it kind of got all over the place, and we got to talking about a lot of things that I love, and I think people need to hear that truly could help the citizens of this city. Now, I'm going to tell you. Anyway, look into the camera. Tell the citizens of the city of Memphis why they should vote for James Kirkwood.
You should vote for James Kirkwood because I have served you. I am serving you even now. You need a leader. You need a councilman who can walk amongst you, who is comfortable walking amongst you to make sure that we reduce crime, who understands how to reduce crime, understands how to walk in relationship with police and community at the same time, understands how to build a collaboration with all the different stakeholders to make it happen. You got to vote for a colonel. You got to vote for Kirkwood. She just said 1 minute, all right? Because understand, I know workforce development is important. I know that youth engagement is absolutely important, and those are 2 things that I've been working with.
Amen.
Understand policy, we can put those things in effect to make sure that we secure our youth engagement programs for persuaders, for Heal the Hood. We can partner with our other organizations to make things work, and we can partner with our apprenticeship programs to move our young men into, we can reduce poverty, you all. So you should vote Kirkwood because it's good with Kirkwood, all right? It's good with Kirkwood, for I'm good for your neighborhood, and I love you, and hey, love serving you, and I look forward to it. So early voting is going on right now. Go to the polls and vote. Abundant Grace, Middle Baptist, Greater Middle Baptist. You can go to those polls and you can vote for Kirkwood today, tomorrow, and the rest of the week until the 11th, and then November 16th is election day.
Outstanding. Look, I thought I talk a lot. He is never at a loss for words, but that's a good thing because when you're in it and you're living it and you're walking it, it's easy. It easily comes out of your mouth.
You talk about it all the time.
Easily comes out of your mouth.
Yes.
Hey, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Pleasing pleasure. And please go to the polls and vote. Exercise your rights. So many people have given so much so that you have the opportunity to do that.